What's going on, yo? What's going on, everybody? Back for another week, back for another episode of content. And today we are tackling some trending news. We are going to converse about Mr.Cee and his latest bullshit and his latest episode of fuckery that was put on display for the public. We're calling this episode. This is the second male accountability session that we have had on this show. So, it is a time for us as men to really look at each other and challenge each other. And, I got some interesting things to say and some stuff that a lot of brothers out there need to hear. I do this show for the men. I do this show for the brothers. I do this for men out there who need conversation, community, who need to learn, hear from other men, a little bit of a push in the right direction to grow and, kind of be to grow and to be the kind of man that a lot of women in this community deserve, not just romantically, but as a proper ally. And, a lot of times guys are just on their journey. We're on a journey, and it's definitely nothing's overnight, but I'm doing my part to help out. So as I do with all my shows, everybody, trigger warning. This is a men's conversation said in a way that is palatable for men. And, ladies, you are always welcome to listen and comment in this space, but this is a men's space. So you may get triggered on some things that you hear. We're speaking from the heart. We are offering the truth as we see it. And okay. Well, without much further ado, I will introduce my guest today, which is, y'all seen him before. My main man, Brother Mike Brooklyn. What's going on, brother?
I'm good.
And Mike from Pennsylvania, Brother Mike Biggs. What's going on, brother?
Living life.
All right. Oh shit, hold on. Let me get an invite link to my main man. Somebody else. I think we might have a special guest on the show, y'all. So hopefully that comes together. We'll see in a second. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I know a lot of people watching this have probably already heard Mr.Cee did an interview with Maino, and it was really dumb and just like some ignorant ass shit. And instead of telling y'all about it, we're just gonna sit back and watch it, or at least we're gonna watch a clip of it. They have a clip up on their like Maino page. And let's just check this shit out. So first, I'm gonna do this overlay, and then this. All right, I know y'all can't really see it, but you ain't supposed to see it. You're supposed to, hear it. So let's play this shit from the beginning. Wait, hold on now.
I'm not sure. You know I am. You know what I do.
But the world, my
story is well documented. I just wanted to know how you got that.
No, I absolutely.
Test.
Okay.
I like that. That's cool. But
so people thought
that training stuff.
That's what I do, bro.
That's what you do.
That's what I do.
My goodness.
The disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've answered that question way back when I got arrested in 2011 and 2013.
We got new.
Yeah, I know we got new people. I consider myself trisexual. I'll try anything.
Okay. Hey, I respect it. I respect it.
I'll try anything. Not anything. Not literally not anything. But the point I'm making is that the only thing I've done with transsexuals is that I got top head from transsexual. I've never had sex. I've never penetrated.
Never hit a nigga.
No.
Never hit a nigga.
No.
Never hit a
Wow.
nigga. Not one time.
No. Never in my life. Never had sexual intercourse with a transsexual.
What is the thing with transsexuals? Like, because it's a man, so it's like because there's footage, right? Where it's like this dude tapes you, right? And y'all like haggling over the prices of head, right? So it's like.
Well, let me correct you. It wasn't a dude that taped me. It was a transsexual.
Okay. It's a transsexual.
I don't want them to get at you.
Don't get at me.
It was a transsexual woman that taped me. It was not a man.
I understand all this shit.
But I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying.
You want to learn from the master?
What you into? Fucking master.
You want to learn from the master?
The master. So.
The master.
Because they will get at you.
They will get at you.
If you don't talk the right terminology,
I have a problem.
You will have problems.
Okay, so a transsexual female takes you, basically haggling over head prices and where to do it at and all this other stuff. Like, so what I'm asking you is that my question is like, do you prefer that it's a
man that looks like a woman?
That used to be that looks like a woman, or
Maino, stop being difficult. That's what a transsexual woman is.
So
it's a man that's dressed like a woman.
Right, but is that what you like, though?
Yes. I already made that clear. What we going here?
You know, I really respect your honesty.
Chris.
Wow.
Chris.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to switch my. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
You know I had to step in here, man.
Oh, hold on. Before you go talking, brother.
Okay.
Before you go talking, everybody, this is the OG, one and only special guest tonight, Brother Troy Kennedy in the house. What's up, man?
It's good,
Thanks
Troy.
for joining us.
What's up, brothers? What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? I can't see the other guy's name. I think it's Mike. You know, I'm old.
It's Mike. 2 mics.
All right. Because I know the other Mike. But check this out. I wanted to step in for a minute to just say, you know, guys like Mr.Cee and unfortunately guys like Malik, who you know, full disclosure, I have a personal relationship with. When you're not equipped to talk about being a transamorous man, what ends up happening, you say a lot of problematic shit. And that reflects on all of us. You know, and because of their own hubris, because of their own egos, they can't take being taught. They don't understand that how they think, first and foremost, is problematic. And that they do more damage to men like us than helping. Mm-hmm. The fact that this man said there are men who just trans women are nothing but men that dress like women, then you don't know trans women. And the proof in that is that he was fucking with cross-dressers. So, you know, Mr.Cee, if you ever got a chance to listen to this, bro, you need an education. You need to sit down. You need to learn. You need to shut the fuck up. And you need to learn how to have these conversations, because with his limited knowledge, all he does is hurt us and make us seem like they were nothing but a bunch of fetishizers, a bunch of men who are just seeking sexual validation and sexual pleasure. Mm-hmm. I had to step in, bro, because I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people with a huge platform making us look stupid.
I mean, you know, is he really one of us? Like, to me, it seems like he's just a John. Like, he's just some nigga that dip in and dip out on some fetishy like freak shit, and like he ain't really here. I'm saying he's not dating any of the girls. He ain't got a bunch of friends like that. He's not looking to partner with any women. And, you know, obviously, you know, I think I would take offense if he was talking about, yeah, well, I'm transamorous, this, and this, and trying to be a representative, because it's clear what the fuck you here for. You here for that wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you out.
We understand that.
Uh-huh.
The world doesn't.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, it really made it, that whole interview, and I'm going to bring it right here. What's going on, Brother Jules?
What's up, fellas?
Yo.
Fresh off the clock. I just been listening from the sideline, but
Yeah.
I recall hearing about this situation some years back, so it was so far removed from my mind when Chris asked me, because I really don't keep up with pop culture, to be honest with you. Chris is the news guy, so he keeps up with the media shit. But I do believe that based on what Troy is saying, this man, he just happened to be caught in a situation where he didn't know what else to say. So he just basically he expressed it the best way he knows how, but he should have done a much better job, because he is, like you say, a man of status, a man who has a platform. So he should have taken that as an opportunity to educate himself before he ever spoke publicly on it. Now I got to go back and watch the interview and read it, but it's basically like he doesn't have any respect for the trans community at all.
No, because he only interacts with them as, a client, really.
So what we have to understand and what we have to remember is that there's almost no representation of who we are in the media. And as we can see from this current, I don't know what to call it, current
Hope.
the mindset that a lot of girls have about men who prefer women who happen to have a kickstand, a sheenus, penis, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay, they're trying to shame us and say that there's something wrong with us. Personally, me, I've been blessed to have wonderful relationships, both romantically and platonic, with women who helped shape my life. Without those women, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I wouldn't be able to stand tall and say, fuck the world. Okay. So men like Mr.Cee, men like Brother Malik, who I got a lot of love for, when you're not educated, when you don't take the time to learn what to say, how to say it, you get clowned. He's getting clowned. Mr.Cee got clowned in his interview. And I know it's loud here, y'all, so forgive me, because it's cigar night. There's a bunch of people upstairs. But I had to come in because this hurts me. It hurts me big time.
Sorry, we have to take
Yeah, sorry. Troy had to mute
to
to shut down everybody else around him for the people that are listening on podcast. So just give him a second. He'll be right back.
But
yeah. Okay. All right,
hello.
Lady, please let us do this.
Your cigar
Thank you.
night. We trying to have a podcast,
all right,
ma'am, if you don't mind.
So, anywho, yeah, this is not necessary. So we're going to remove that until she's gone. Anywho, look, a lot of this really is I just see this as such a missed opportunity because, like Troy was saying, this man has a platform. He has spread, and he really could have devoted himself to really being an ally of this community instead of just some observer trying not to be called gay or labeled gay. I think it was, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at the girl a little bit too, because I'm like, I don't know who she is, but I'm making an assumption here, y'all. It looks like she might be a part of the LGBT community some way, somehow. And the fact that she was sitting there cool with the shit and not standing up was also fucked up. But calling himself the master and all this other shit, it was just really, the whole thing was fucked up, and the whole thing was steeped in. I felt like he was trying to have one foot in and have one foot out. He was still trying to, say I'm in this world and this is what I'm about, but I ain't gay because I ain't fuck nobody. I just did this, only went this far. So I'm not really gay. Like, you can't devalue me as a man because, and it's part of that. I was talking in the clubhouse room earlier today or yesterday, but it was really, I think there's a huge problem with men trying to hold on to their straightness at the cost of the community. If this dude wasn't so concerned about seeming straight and being validated by his peers and all that stuff, I think that he would be possibly a little bit more willing to, to just say, hey, you know what, this is what I like, and this ain't some weird, freaky shit. This is legit. And but he was just half in, half out on this bullshit. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to get some comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just saying. I mean, that's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to keep the 1 foot in, the 1 foot out, and then at the same time act like he's open sexually to trying different things, which in his mind, he doesn't see trans women as being women. He just sees them as a thing that he goes out there and solicits from his car.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely trash.
And again, that makes us that makes that this is only a fetish, that this is only a sexual endeavor real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm for your audience, Chris, and I'll be 57 now. So I put my name OG Yoda because I've been doing this a long time and out and open a lot. I know the brothers here, other than the other Mike, White Mike. I hate to call you White Mike, but the other brothers have known of me for a very long time because I'm one of the first brothers who stepped up and stepped out and said fuck it. And as I was talking to Chris earlier tonight, I'm a little disheartened in being, ostracized in the community because I'm outspoken, unapologetic in who I am, and it's real difficult, as brothers, we have to stick together because nobody else is going to be there for us. And I know that I have, and as I talked to Chris earlier, I know that sometimes I'm abrasive and I'm rude and I can be an asshole. Ray, you know that. Mike, you know that. Chris, of course, you know that. But what I say and what I do it out of love, and I do it out of understanding the journey. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of the women don't understand. They neither respect nor understand what our journey looks like, and they don't want to hear it. And because of those things, we can't have real, impactful conversations. I wasn't gonna come on tonight because, like I said, I've been drinking, I've been smoking a little weed, smoking little cigars. I'm feeling good right now, but I think this is important, and it's an important subject to talk about because if we don't talk about it and if we don't address it, then the Mr.Cees of the world get to be the one who define who we are and define how we think. And that's not who we are. And I know most of the brothers here. And I know how we think. And I know that we're tired. We're tired of being the bad guy and tired of being the villain. And I know for me, as long as I've been doing it, I'm ready to check out. But I'm not going to check out because of the love I have for the women who have made me better and for y'all. I love y'all. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love y'all. I wouldn't talk if I didn't love y'all. I wouldn't stand up and I wouldn't be accountable here with you if I didn't love you and if I didn't want us to do better and be better. So that's really what I wanted to contribute to this conversation, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate you hopping on with us and sharing a little conversation, a little knowledge.
Ask a question for me. I'd be happy to answer it real quick. I'll give y'all about 4 or 5 more minutes. I don't know if your audience is chiming in, but
so Hope has a question here that I really wanted us to get to. So so Hope pretty much asked, so what's the solution? How do you all plan to show what sets you apart from people like Mr.Cee, pretty much apart from them? So I guess how do we make sure that we don't get lumped in with the Mr.Cees of the world? How do we, from the outside world, as well as, you know, from within community. Like, how do we, what can we do to not get lumped in with the Mr. C's of the world?
Well, I actually had a thought on that, if I could share. What I think is what Troy said is that a lot of women, you know, in the trans community are very, you know, involved in their transition and, you know, their look and just being able to navigate everyday life. So looking at it from that standpoint, as a cisgender man, it would appear as I have no problems, you know, compared to a trans woman, because I'm living my cisgender life and that's already been carved out for me. All I have to do is follow it. But when you're a trans person, you're following a different path than what was carved out for you. So what I feel the solution is we just really need to take time to have these conversations. Like, trans women, when you meet a man, you should just straight up ask him, like, why are you into me? And then after you find out why he's into you, find out why he's into trans women. And then you just kind of progress and break through the ice so that you can get the information you need to figure out how you're going to deal with this person. Now, they could still bullshit you. It's not, you know, uncommon for that to happen. But if you at least have a baseline for what this person sees in you and what their value is in you, then you can act accordingly. And from our standpoint, we need to do our best when we talking to these ladies to let them know, hey, this is something I'm seriously pursuing, or hey, I don't really know if I really belong here, but you know, I'm attracted to you, so what's up, you know? So we need to be more, you know, it's a both. It's like I always say, my favorite saying is the door swings both ways. You know, so we have to stop fighting each other and villainizing each other and just take the time to find out why we are here and how did we arrive here. And then maybe we can find some common ground and where we can help each other in the transition. Whereas ours is mental.
Right.
Theirs is mental and physical.
Right. Unpopular opinion. Some trans women in the community want to paint us as villains.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They need a villain to you know, because they like to play the victim game. Yes, trans women go through a whole lot of bullshit. Yes, they do. But you know, there are men who are there for them. Again, I've been in this community 35 years. I've been out, you know, 20 of those years, 21, 22 right now. My math might be a little off, but you know, we don't have the support, or didn't have the support. Of course, we do have it now. And you know, real talk, before I started stepping out, there was nothing. There was nobody else doing it. So, you know, I took it upon just faith of knowing that this is who I am, and that I had women who were behind me. And so the Miko Hicks of the world, the Diamond Styles of the world, who allowed me on their platforms, who allowed me to tell my story without judgment, without without anger, because you know, I ain't did nothing with a lot of these women out there. But you're angry at men. Well, I don't know you. I haven't dealt with you. So I don't deserve your trauma dumping. You know, I can listen to you, but at the end of the day, your trauma, I didn't cause it. You know, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. You know, like I said, I've talked to almost everybody here. You know, and we've had deep diving discussions on how we can do better and be better. But they think we don't do this. And it's infuriating to me, as somebody who knows that from 20 plus years ago to today, that story is very, very different. You know, I love you guys, man. And the only reason why I stay in is because I know that we need to keep fighting, and that we need to have men who will stand up, who will speak out, who will be visible, and try to make a difference. So, you know, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in, y'all. I love you, brothers. I'm going back to get a little high. Get a little high.
Hey man, it's Friday night.
It's Friday, you know, and I got my family upstairs and shit. my good brothers and shit. And I have good brothers who, one of my trans women friends just left, who introduced me to the brothers who I smoke cigars with. Okay. Without her, I wouldn't be attached to these men who sit up and fight for her with other cis women who say, "Ooh, I think she's trans." That's our sister. And we love and we respect her. So us being out and open helps our brothers who may not be trans attracted, but who may know trans women, to stand up and to fight for them. So what we're doing is very, very valid. So, the haters can do all the talking they want to do. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep fighting. I got y'all. I'm going to fight for y'all because y'all my brothers and I love you. So that's all I got to say, man. I'm going to get back to it. But I wanted to put my 2 cents in, and that's it. You got anything else for me, Chris?
No, man, I think we all good, but I appreciate your time, Mr. OG Yoda.
All right, brother.
Thank you for coming through.
And I'm Troy. I'm Troy Kennedy. I got a Twitter page, Buff Blackwell. That's BUFFBLKWELL. I do have a Twitter porn page where I enjoy my porn in anonymity. So you know what I'm saying, because I enjoy looking at naked women's. So good because I'm a real dude. So
yeah.
So don't think that me putting OG Yoda on here for those who's like, why he put that up there? Why he ain't put his real name? Because to the brothers, that's who the fuck I am. So, deuces, y'all. I love you.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us.
So yeah. Always pleasure to have him in the building.
Yep. So, this was a special appearance of Troy on the show, y'all. But the part of, I really want to answer this question because I think, it's important to really have direction on how do we set ourselves apart from the Mr.Cees, from the flyby people that I would say the people that are in it for a fetish and in it for a thrill, compared to the people that are actually looking to become a part of this community and, to respect the women in the community and honor them in a certain way. I really think, I think what sets us apart really is just speaking up and speaking out often and, really putting our cis male privilege on the line, whenever there's an opportunity, this kind of goes into, and this kind of goes into what I was going to talk about after we got done with this Mr.Cee thing. But it's definitely incumbent upon us men to, be a little bit more aggressive with educating people and be a lot less tolerant of the bullshit and ignorance that's happening out here, especially on social media. There are cis men out there who affirm their masculinity through hating on the trans community. Like they feel like they're more men because they feel like they're more of a man because, oh, well, I'm gonna fuck with that and this and this. And, oh, that's a man. And that's throwing out all that bullshit. And, the moment somebody speaks up, it's like, hey, man, but if you do like that, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you do go that way, it's all good. Like, I think there needs to be more voices out there, and just cis men in general, not even just us, but, there needs to be more voices out there letting people know that, if you do like this, you're still valid and you can still be respected in our community and you can still be respected by us men. So I definitely think that that's a piece of the puzzle. I think, setting ourselves apart is really just being a lot more vocal and not allowing the bullshit to fly. I mean, if we are really here to be allies of the community, we need to show the fuck up and represent at any opportunity, short of, fighting a gang of niggas all in the streets and shit. But, I really think we need to do a better job of standing up and speaking out. But, and it's also in the partnership. That's another thing that sets us apart is, a lot of guys in our space, a lot of guys are in relationships. A lot of us are not single. And I think showing up and being a good partner and being public and being an example, is another thing that lets people know, yeah, he ain't like Mr.Cee. He ain't one of them fucking ignorant ass, fetishizer motherfuckers. Like, I think that's a piece of the puzzle as well. I'm sorry, Mike, I cut you off.
Oh no, I mean, I'm just saying it's also important for the girls to like listen to guys like us who openly discuss our attraction for the trans women, as opposed to listening to celebrities like Mr.Cee, who, let's face it, only thing he's really popular for is spinning some fucking records. Granted, he's the founder of Biggie. Like, he found Biggie and brought Biggie to Puffy, but ultimately, over the years, what has he been doing? He's been spinning records at a radio station, spinning records at clubs. You know what I mean? I mean, for him to come out and speak on, being with trans women, he can only speak on it from the fact that he got caught in his car soliciting women that were out there doing sex work, which, nothing against the sex workers, but with him, it's like, yo, that's your only experience with trans women. You don't date them on a regular basis. It's like he has no position to really be telling anybody that he's the master,
For sure. I'm sorry, I was just catching up on the comments because they are straight up fiery right now. So, really, at the end of the day, there are a lot of women in community right now, they're asking of more. They're asking more from us. They're asking more from us as men. I think all I could really say is, at the end of the day, our numbers are just few. We are not anywhere near the majority. That doesn't excuse us from, stepping up and supporting in the way that we need to support through the form of, I think, like Hope pointed out, scholarships and, really stepping up to volunteer and help people in community out and really show up for community-backed efforts. That definitely doesn't save us from doing that. But, I think women are just really tired of there being no real large movement of men on this front to really show up and step out. And to be honest, it's not where it should be. We're getting there slowly but surely, but it is a slow process. I am in 2 men's only groups of guys that don't care that people know, I'm sorry, not don't care, but they don't care that other men see that don't know them, that they don't care about showing their face in their profile on a Facebook group and all that stuff. I think it's I'm in 2 different groups, but these groups combined don't amount for any more than like 400 guys, and maybe 60, 70 of them are active. It is
less than that.
Yeah, it's really slow going, and it really is just a slow and steady battle. And I think there is help that could be had. And I shout out to Dee Dee, Waters, Harmony's on here. I even think Hope. I think women, really, I think y'all have a part in the destiny of all this in a way that you don't completely realize.
Yep.
Because really, y'all, I can't reach the men like y'all can reach the men. And it really takes a combined effort for all of us to really make this movement visible to the men who need to see it. I think it's been great that the women that I just named, have been sending men to the men's only group that I have, where we, really step up for each other. We support, we offer different ideas. We answer when young guys come in and they have questions, we answer. And if they're using the wrong words, we tell them, hey, instead of saying this, say this. The community doesn't really appreciate it when you do this. Like, we are helping and teaching each other, and we are doing the work, but it is very slow going with just us doing this in a way to bring guys in. I think it's, there's a lot of guys on the pages of a lot of these girls. And, that's something I'm going to be looking to do in the future, is really to kind of partner with some women who have a large broadcasting space that reaches a lot of men, that kind of need to be pulled in and, you know, have some growth to do.
I know one for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, that I think that's a piece of the puzzle. I don't think we're completely separate in this effort to really transform things in a way that will be better going forward. You know, because at this point, we're working for a better future. You know, the present is already fucked up. But we're really looking to partner with women as a community of men and women to really kind of make things better on this front. And you know, fellas, I want to pitch it back out to y'all if y'all had any comments on like what y'all thought. You know, what are your thoughts on you know, men needing to step up, because this show was really titled like this is a male accountability session, and I have a whole list of things I'm gonna get through, but I want to open it up to you guys in like what ways do you think that we can really step up as men and really show up in a way that, you know, the community is asking us to.
Well, as I mentioned, I knew one that came to mind when you told me about a young lady who has a large platform, who works in the porn industry. And she was telling me one of the things that men need to start doing from her perspective is to start courting more. So we had a debate on that about, well, what is courting? And when I think about courting, I'm thinking about candy, I'm thinking about flowers, I'm thinking about, you know, gifts and baubles, you know, things like that that impress a young lady. But she was like, no, it's not that. It's like, to me, courting is just finding out who a girl is, finding out what her ambitions are, finding out where she comes from, finding out what her family relationship, just asking her about herself, like giving her an opportunity to tell her story. And like, for somebody you're romantically interested in, it could be a good bonding exercise to be able to just go into that. And you can do that kind of stuff walking in the mall, going to the park, you know, stuff that doesn't cost money. Because whenever I think about dating, it's well documented that I always feel like dating is a job and or an investment, and it requires a lot of financial resources. But I always, every now and then, have a few ladies that come to me and tell me, no, that's not how it really is. Like, that's not how all women think. You know, it's only a certain population of women, but there are women that appreciate the little things, like just getting to know her on a human level.
I want to address
like,
this
does she like
comment
video
real quick.
games, you know?
Yeah, I want to address this comment real quick, Ray. I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off.
Oh no, I'm done.
I'm going through these comments here, and the ladies are kind of, you know, not battling, but the comments are really hot right now. And you know, I wanted to address this one comment from Judge Desiree, who said, you know, the discussion helps you guys, not us. And, you know, really, I think that is completely incorrect. And I think that's I would say look at the bigger picture of things, because really growth and development on our side provides you and the women that you are connected to in this community with better allies and better mates that really understand themselves. And, you know, doing the work and having these conversations really helps things out, because, you know, we're helping men, we're helping men, you know, really reconcile their masculinity with their attraction for trans women. You know, that's huge. You know, that's the key part right there that could save a life someday. You know, it really could save a life someday when somebody tries to pull this guy's card and he's not feeling threatened in a way where he has to react violently. But it's also, you know, these discussions, these support groups really, you know, help guys understand that there isn't anything wrong with them, and that, you know, being in this space, having this sort of attraction, all this kind of stuff, it's normal, and being with other people who are like you really helps out in that way. And, you know, a lot of times guys just need to learn. We have questions. We don't know things. And, you know, a lot of times I hear a lot of women in the community say, we're not your teacher. You know, I don't want to be your teacher. And I think, you know, I hear that sentiment, and, you know, we are trying to organize and do the work so that y'all don't have to teach us. You know, I think us coming together is and having these conversations in our own space is valuable. And I think it helps all of us become better men for you, and not in just a I want to be with you kind of way, but for you as an ally, for you to have somebody to support you and protect you and understand and defend you and defend the community at large. I think, you know, these groups are vital to the journey of a lot of men in this space. I think, you know, men need community just as much as women do. And, you know, and I will address another sentiment real quick because, you know, this is also some kind of another. Okay. So,
Yeah, I was just gonna say one thing, basically that when it comes to the teaching aspect, right? We may not know everything, we may not be the masters, but you know, at least a little bit that we do know, if we could pass that on to another guy that may be new to the community and everything like that, and is trying to date a trans woman, then at least when he ends up meeting that woman, if he's heard the podcast that we've done and everything like that, at least he's arriving a little bit better than as if he went without even knowing anything, and then the woman being like, hey, I'm not your teacher, I'm not here, and then the relationship doesn't progress.
She's not teaching him that 2 + 2 = 4. He's got the basic shit out the way. And a lot of, you know, women I hear frustrations from some women out there about that. But, you know, this comment right here, you know, you guys will never be a part of the trans circle. That is, I will say that is a thought, an ideal that will hold the community back in a way where it's going to be forever broken. You know, a community and the people that they partner with need to come together and need to be one. You can't have your community and say, this is our space and we're not going to be with you guys at all, and you're not a part of our community. You can't separate that, because you're looking to your man, or maybe not you, but a lot of women out there are looking to their partners to show up to events and to march and to really help organize and like really come together in unity. I really think that this community would be a lot better off if men and women were able to come together in unity in a way where we can stand up for each other. I mean, we're all getting, men included, are getting shit from the outside world. Yes, we are not getting murdered. That is correct. But we are all getting shit from the outside world. And I think that if we all came together.
I have to
hold on, bro. Let me finish this. Let me finish this real quick. Okay, yeah. So, you know, I think we all really have to come together because, you know, united, we're stronger and we can protect each other from the outside bullshit and the judgment and the hate of the world. Really, you know, this Mr.Cee guy, he was naked and he was trying to protect himself, and he's maybe not the best example. I'm gonna just leave him the fuck out of this. But, you know, I just really think, like, you know, the antagonism and the hatred and all that kind of just immature shit. And let me not brand it all as immaturity, but, you know, I just think we really need to do a better job at coming together, because, you know, I don't think this community moves forward until the men who are entering the space and the women who are already there can figure out a way to coexist in a way where one side is not the villain. We're not making each side the villain. We are not your enemy. We need to be together. You're not my enemy. We need to work together. And we need, you know, to ally ourselves with each other a little bit more. So I just think that's a really big piece of the puzzle. I think I think holding those lines and keeping everybody separate is just going to keep community where it's always been. And, you know, we're trying to move forward. And I think, you know, moving forward together is the answer. I'm sorry, Ray, you had something?
Oh no, I agree with everything you said, but I guess I say I disagree as a black man, you know, maybe due to the social media thing. You know, I do feel like I'm being murdered when the cops are showing, you know, and that's a whole different issue, but I feel that, you know, from a standpoint, but that doesn't, you know, downplay what the ladies are going through with the murders happening at the hands of black men. Shout out Mike for the BLM. So I mean, I just say that to say, you know, with that in mind, you're absolutely right. You know, we are being attacked from one side, they're being attacked from another side. If we don't realize, and I kind of, you know, was a little taken aback by that comment that you'll never be a part of the trans circle. I've heard girls that have debated, well, are men in the circle or not? They're asking us. So, I mean, at that point, it's like, do you want me in the circle? Because, I mean, basically what we're doing, we're creating our own circle of men, but we would probably benefit from the education in your circle if we would come together.
Yeah,
So that's what I feel like. It's always going to be, you all don't do this right. We all don't do that right. But if we would just could come together and have like meaningful conversations about, well, what is it about our side that you feel doesn't do right? Well, what do you think we could do better? Well, how do you think you could make that better for us if we actually try to step up and do what you say we need to do? It's a back and forth. It's just like to me, love is just like politics. It's a little give and take. You gotta, you know, amend here. You gotta do this. And, you know, at this point, when you decide to deal with this person, whether it's on a romantic level or a friendship level, y'all have to come to understanding like this person is not my enemy, you know, and I heard that, you know, fully because I'm often in these group chats where I often hear a lot of women say like, you know, all men ain't shit, or we're not doing this, or, you know, but I've heard a lot of pleas for women to say we should accept our place in the community instead of saying, no, I ain't in that community. So when she said that, it was kind of interesting because I've heard a lot of women say a lot of men are in denial when they reject their place in the community as opposed to embracing it. So where I feel we are different is we have embraced our place in the community, but now we have women that have advised us that, well, no, you'll never have a place here. And it's like, well, how does that help us? You know, how does that help any of us?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
that's all.
And Jules, like I've actually heard women say that transamorous men are part of the community. You know what I mean? Like they've actually said like we are. So it's like, you know, and they're not speaking on all men that are into the trans women. They're just speaking on specifically like the transamorous men, not the DL dudes, not the trade, not anything like that. Just like the men that are legit interested in trans women are definitely part of the community. So it's like for a woman like that to come over and say, oh, we'll never be in the circle. It's like, yo, like we never be in your position, but are we within the community? Like, yes, the fuck we are.
For sure. And, you know, I think I'm gonna move on from this, but, you know, it's a diverse community with lots of opinions. You know, that was Desiree's opinion, but, you know, other people think differently. And, you know, I think that's something else everybody here really needs to understand. You know, guys out there listening and women listening and commenting right now, you know, no part of this community is a monolith. You know, saying all men, all women, X, Y, and Z, like there are just so many different unique people with so many different points of view that, you know, it just serves no one to say, you know, all this and we're all this and you're all that. And, you know, that's antagonistic and you know, a little, it's you don't really have any good intent when that's how you talk. You know, you're not really meaning to speak in a way that acknowledges people that aren't what you're saying. And, you know, I'll just leave it at that because I really did not start this stream to talk about community politics in that way. You know, and I really have to kind of turn off these comments because the ladies are having their own little squabble that I just, I don't need my pressure going up. So, anywho, really, I called this show the Male Accountability Show. You know, this is the second male accountability session. And, you know, I kind of want to speak directly to the guys out there. I'm probably going to clip this because this was definitely supposed to come a lot earlier in the show. But, you know, it's a lot of men out there fucking up right now. You know, men, this is for you. Brothers, this is for you. All the men in community right now, this is for all of us. Now, this don't pertain to all of us, but everybody needs to hear and listen and I think there's something in here for everybody, really. And, you know, I think, you know, men really need to stop fucking up. I mean, really, you know, I think that women in the trans community really deserve to be respected. And, you know, I hear stories of hurt from a lot of women. And, you know, fellas, if you're entering this community, if you're entering this space, if you're trying to date women in this community, like, stay the fuck away if you're on some fuck shit, man. Like, really, if you just out here playing games, get the fuck away from these girls. Do better, motherfucker. Like, grow up. You know, don't be coming in here trying to play games with people's emotions and promising shit and ghosting girls. And like, this is a community of women that deserve, these women deserve the same, if not better, in my mind, the same, if not better treatment than cis women. You know, this is not a place for you to run roughshod and treat, you know, individuals in this community as if they're lesser. You know, I really, really fucking hate all the bullshit, because you know what? At the end of the day, let's say you fuck boy number one, and you grow up and you progress in your journey and you start to learn and you become a responsible person in this community. You know, all the shit that you did, you know, really fucked somebody up out there, and somebody else is going to have to pay for that. And, you know, it's really detrimental. And I just think that, you know, I'm just really passionate and just upset at how much fuckery is going on out here, because there are so many hurt women in this community that just don't deserve to be treated this way. And, you know, really, this Mr.Cee thing, I was already thinking about this kind of stuff. You know, all the transamorous, you claim it transamorous, you claim it trans attracted, whatever the fuck you want to claim, all that shit, you know, motherfucker, if you have friends, if you know other niggas, if you call yourself an ally of this community and you here for the women and you here to stand up for women, if you know other niggas in this community that's navigating through this world, doing women wrong left and right, motherfucker, it's on you to hold your friends accountable. Men, hold your friends accountable. Either don't fuck with that nigga, let him know he's doing some fuck shit. I mean, at the end of the day, birds of a feather flock together. And, you know, if you hanging out with a nigga that's on some fuck shit, you are guilty by association. And we really need to do a better job at weeding out the bullshit within men that's even claiming transamorous and all this stuff. Because it, again, it's kind of what Troy was alluding to. Like, you know, what you do reflects upon all of us, whether we wanted to or not. As much as I get on here and bark about how much I'm not Jesus Christ and I'm not here to pay for everybody else's sins, but I am paying for everybody else's sins, and everybody in our group is paying for everybody's sins. So we really need to do a better job at holding each other accountable in those spaces and not be on some, yeah, man, get yours, do this and this. Fuck all that shit. Niggas, do better. Hold each other fucking accountable. You see niggas doing women in this community wrong, say something. Speak on that shit, or just leave that nigga alone. Real talk. You know, really, time is up. Time is up for tolerating problematic and evil men. Like, time is up for that shit. Time is up for tolerating fuckboy, evil motherfuckers in our midst. I have actually kicked people out of my group once I find out some of the shit that they've done and some of the shit that they on. You know, I get people have a past, and not everybody's past is perfect. But, you know, if I talk to you still capping for the bullshit you was doing and the way that you hurt women in this community, you got to get the fuck out of my group. You got to get the fuck from around me. Because, I mean, really, integrity is huge to me. And I think that if more men in this community really showed up in certain ways, were honest about who the fuck they were, what they did, weren't leading women on, weren't hurting them in this way, you know, I think we'd be in a better space. We can't change what's already been done, but we can move forward and change and make the world a better place. And I'm sorry, I'm almost done with my little monologue, guys. I'm just straight up fired up about this shit, because it's really, really touched me and really affected me as some of the stories I've been hearing on Clubhouse lately from women, and just the hurt that I've been taking in from them is just like, it's mind blowing. And you know, women out there, when we talk about we're not the enemy and all, I'm not invalidating the hurt and the trauma and everything that's happened to you. That is not what I'm trying to do. Your experience is valid, and what happened to you, is fucked up. And I just hope and pray that, a lot of women in this community can see past that to give some of us a chance, or at the very least acknowledge that not all men are dogs. Not all men are out here to do you wrong, to hurt you, to use you. We're not all out here to do that. And I really just hope that some of y'all can, have the capacity in your heart to really understand that and just not label all of us, but I understand where it comes from. These are trans women. Y'all are fucking amazing. Y'all are amazing. The women in this community are absolutely amazing and awe-inspiring, and they deserve happiness. Everybody, we all deserve happiness, and these women deserve it. They sacrifice a lot. They have a fucking journey. They go through shit. And I think, again, man, we got to do a better job of holding each other accountable, and like I talked about before, again, time is up. And another thing time's up for is letting transphobia exist in spaces that you're taking up. Nigga, if you kicking it with your friends and your friends is talking that bullshit and with them really men, or they laughing and trying to make light of a trans woman just trying to live her fucking life, like transamorous men, that shit is on you to stand the fuck up and speak up. Put your fucking privilege at risk. I don't give a shit. Like, speak the fuck up. You say you're an ally, do that shit at all times. Check your friends, check your family. Speak the fuck up. Do not let any of that shit exist in your space.
Yeah, that's a great point though, because that part where Maino was like, actually getting a lot of that shit wrong, like he was trying to say like, oh, so you like men that look like women, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Mr.Cee, instead of saying, oh yeah, you're right, like instead of like confirming him, Mr.Cee should have been like, no, like trans women are women.
Absolutely. And that was a huge missed opportunity on his part, but I don't think he cared to take it because Mr.Cee's a piece of shit. He really is. And, fellas out there listening to this rant, plea, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the more we can stamp out this casual transphobia in the circles that we exist in, the better society is going to be in general. The better the community is going to be off, because there's more people that know that casual transphobia is not okay, because somebody's going to speak the fuck up. And you don't even know who's going to speak up. Because right now people are doing that shit, assuming, oh, well, I'm in a safe space. Everybody's with that shit. Don't nobody really fuck with them, blah, 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 whatever else, and I really think that I think it's really on us to also do our part to just ensure that a lot of women in the trans community just get the same human decency that many of us enjoy every day. We do have cis privilege. We walk out the door, we're not fighting battles. And I really think, if you at the subway station, I don't know, at the McDonald's, wherever the fuck you at, like, motherfucker, be aware. Peep that shit and be ready to be an ally and stand up at any moment. Because, there's a lot of women out here who are just going through shit and deal with a whole lot of shit that just doesn't need to happen. And that person stepping up and just being a good human and being an ally like you say you are, can make all the difference. I think we really need to kind of remind ourselves and check ourselves a little bit more that we need to, kind of step up in those ways a little bit more. But it's just the casual transphobia that we allow. We allow because we're scared. We're scared that people are going to think that we're gay. We're scared that we're going to lose prestige with our friends and we'll be demoted in our friend group and joked on and laughed at. And like, motherfucker, if you really about this shit and you living your life open, this ain't the time to be caring about that shit. You need to be stomping that shit out and speak the fuck up. You need to be an ally when ain't nobody around, when ain't no girls around, ain't nobody ever gonna know you did that, but you did that. You know what I'm saying? It's integrity. I was always taught integrity is a thing that's like, it's you doing what's right, even when it's not the popular thing to do. And you got to stand on your shit, fellas. We got to do a little bit better of a job and not allow ourselves to try and hold on to whatever cis privilege we have in whatever the fuck spaces, and we really need to stand up and show out. Really. Sorry, that's the end of my rant, fellas, brothers. I'm gonna open this up to y'all. Y'all have any thoughts on this?
I know Jules had his hand up.
Okay, there you go, brother. Have at it, man.
Yeah, so basically what you were saying is like I go through that with my mother on occasion because, I'm somewhat of an introvert, so I don't really navigate a lot of spaces where I've, witnessed transphobia out in the open. But at least from a practice standpoint, I would remember seeing trans women on television while I'm sitting watching TV with my mother, and it's like, man, isn't it something how those men can dress up? And I'm like, no, mother, no. They're women of trans experience. I know you have a hard time understanding that, but once they have assumed the identity of a woman, they are a woman of trans experience. They are no longer men. In some cases, they may have never been men. So I'm gonna need you to understand that, mama, and you ain't gonna be able to talk like that around me until you get it right. So, and I know she doesn't come from a place of hatred or bigotry, but she's old school. It wasn't a thing, like it was, coming up, and she just has hard time seeing that trans people are as visible as they are now, especially in the media. But, that is an instance where I know, I have to check her occasionally on multiple fronts, but, she has to be like, oh, okay, I guess, she doesn't really understand it, but she just goes along, and if you could just get people to do that, like, I guess, they ain't got to understand it, just respect it, and that's all, but I pass it on to one of the other fellas.
Brother Mike, Brother Biggs.
I mean,
the other Mike, because he's been silent all show.
Oh yeah, right.
My view is just it takes 10% to move the tipping point. You know what I'm saying? So all it takes is a small percentage to just change everything. So in my personal opinion, it's like of course, say something if you see something, but if you don't often see that shit, it's like, how do you react to it so quickly? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's times where it's just like, did this really say that shit? You know what I'm saying? It just catches you off guard, and it's like, how am I going to approach this shit? It's just like the process on how you respond to it. It's kind of how you need to contemplate on. In my personal, just for me, let me just speak for me. Now for y'all, I got to think of what I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Got to be on that shit right.
I think you just got to practice. You got to have a prepared statement in your mind. Like, what Chris was saying earlier, like these dudes are just doing all this stuff behind closed doors on DL and stuff, like, like he said, like, I know we all be out here just trying to get a nut at some point in our life, but sometimes you have to take a step back and think to yourself, do I really want what I am about to step into? Like, a lot of people don't think about, just in general, how, okay, if my mother or my cousin or whoever found out about this, how would I feel about that? And if the question is that you would feel like you don't belong there anymore, like everybody would clown you, then you probably just, need to admire the ladies from afar. If that's where you feel like you are. If you feel like you could never come to grips with the idea of anybody knowing that you messed with or had an attraction to a person of trans experience, then it's probably a good indicator that you're not ready to step into the world. Because once you step in, it's like you have to keep on covering your tracks until you decide to come out. And some people, me personally, that's too much trouble. But, some people, they get a taste of that double life, and then they just want to dabble on both sides of the fence.
Like Mr.Cee. I do not advise that shit at all. Do not do that double life shit. If you're going to come in this space, do it 100%. And if you ain't ready, then you ain't ready, and just don't dabble. Don't even dabble. Just stay the fuck away from these girls. Real talk.
Yeah,
sorry,
like,
Brother Brooklyn.
No, yeah, I mean that's the big issue that we have right now, especially between like 2020 and now the beginning of 2021, is like the motherfuckers that try to do that 1 foot in, 1 foot out shit, leading that double life. To be honest with you, like they're the ones that I feel personally are committing most of the murders against trans women, and trans women being highly attacked within the past 2 years like that, with the numbers just like kind of like growing. It's like to be honest, if you can't handle dating a trans woman, like just leave them alone. Like don't even bother trying to date them, because if you're gonna deny them in front of your people, your friends, your family, and everything like that, then you're not the one that should be in their life, period.
And really, nobody deserves that kind of treatment. Nobody deserves that kind of treatment at all. As somebody that's going through it on a different level, where I was the black boyfriend that couldn't be introduced and had to be hidden once upon a time in my young life. That is some really shitty stuff. But I want to show the comments have been kind of flowing in some more. And, I love showing Hope comments because Hope is talking some real shit. So, I think this is another big piece of the problem. Stop gaslighting trans women. Fellas, if these women are sharing their experience with you, and like, I don't know, it's just when they speak, listen, take it in, hear them, truly hear them. Don't try to make them think that this isn't going on and this is all in your head and all this other shit. Like, it ain't that bad. No, it is that bad. And that's their lived experience is valid as fuck. And, I think a lot of guys need to do a better job at, hearing and just sitting and listening, myself included. I think everybody needs to listen to each other a lot more. But, fellas, that, when a woman tells you about her experience and then you just, stop and try and make it, you're not fully accepting it and bringing it in. I think that's a piece of the problem as well. But and somebody else had and this was, I don't know if this was in a response to our conversation about Desiree's comment with men will never be a part of the trans community circles, whatever the fuck she called it. Unfortunately, division creates division. I prefer unity. We definitely, separating ourselves will keep us separate and when we're not communicating and we're not coming together, a lot of times people get narratives in their head about some folks that they ain't talking to. A lot of times when you're in relationships and y'all not talking, or you got to beef with somebody, y'all not talking, you start to get ideas in your head about what's really happening, and that probably ain't even it. A lot of times.
Okay.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of tribalism inside the community too, like what Ms. Desiree said. Like certain type of people look at certain type of people a certain way inside the community, so it kind of creates this hierarchy inside the community as well, where you're looked at as less than if you're this kind of dude versus this kind of dude, or if you do this. And it's just, I feel like we just need to stop trying to find out who is at the bottom. Like nobody needs to be at the bottom right now. I feel like we all on level playing field if we just take the time to understand how strong we could be if we actually understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
If we just take the time to like you say, listen, and really hear it. And I agree. I'm one of those people too. I constantly have to teach myself how to listen, but I also hear that there is lived experiences on both sides where people have just been hurt or betrayed, or lack of trust comes out of that, because it seems like we're always just playing this game with each other where we want to be together with someone else, but we always feel like the other person is trying to get something out of this that they don't deserve. It's like it's always, even if it's not transactional, it's transactional, because I feel from my lived experience, a lot of trans women are, anxious with their interactions with men because they're always wondering what are your intentions are. And then oftentimes a lot of men are not very good at, stating what our intentions are, or our intentions don't match up with what they're looking for in a partner. So, you know, that doesn't make us bad people. That just means we don't have the intentions that you want. But I think if a lot of trans women took more time to figure out what those are and really read how a man moves, and then as a man, we need to make sure we're trying to get to know a trans woman. We need to realize whatever their experience is, we are coming into that, and we have to be open-minded to understand that there's going to be some shit we don't understand, and that's okay.
So John Jukes on YouTube said, Big Chris, many of us don't want to be in the line of fire like that. Many of us fear that. John, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. But really,
you have it, Mike. I talk enough.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, if he has fear, he's got to understand. Fear can be one of two things. You can say fuck everything and run, or you could be a man and you could face everything and rise.
Fair enough.
So
John, I don't want to make it like we're saying you ain't a man or nothing like that, bro. But here's the reality: is these girls.
I have one thing to say, Chris. Just one.
Okay.
My one thing is, what do you have to lose? That's the question. I'm done.
There you go. There you go. What do you have to lose? Good statement. I just think, when guys worry about their fears and all that stuff, I mean, you really have to think of the other side of it. Really is a lot of these women fear walking out the door. I'm just asking for you to step up and stand up to protect them when they come under attack in public, when they need support and you're there and you can help out, do that shit. Because these women are brave as fuck. Like, they have fears with everything that they do. They're this fear of being attacked by society and all that stuff. It informs how they move on many levels. And I think us as men, we really forget that. And we have to really remember that these women they go through a lot, from just starting their transition and keeping it up and just trying to navigate in a world and the fears around all the killings, the murders, trying to keep themselves safe. It's a lot. It's a ton. And you know what, frankly, I don't think a lot of us could really handle that. I really have to tip my hat to a lot of the women out there for just being strong and just making it in this world that is dead set against them. And, John, we really got to think about that shit. What'd you say, bro?
I was like, facts, and more facts.
For real. You really got to think about, like, your fear, what you can lose, what could happen to you, all that stuff. Like, just throw that fear out the window, because these girls are braving so much more than us. They really are. And we can't be mired in our own shit, because our shit is, while it is valid, it is very small compared to what they have to deal with. Like, it is just it's a must, what they say, the size of a mustard seed is tiny, tiny, tiny compared to the mountain of shit that they have to consider and put up with every day. And, how they lead their lives, just, again, leaving the building is a scary prospect for a lot of women. Just stepping out on the street can be dangerous for them.
I saw a comment here. I was looking at the chat. I saw a comment here from my brother David Lofton. I thought that might be a good comment to post up, because it really makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So David Lofton says, too many guys think that they are some kind of main character syndrome, where they think people actually care about their mundane life. Fair enough.
Yeah. Lose.
And Hope. Good observation. I did have notes during my little monologue soliloquy type deal, but these are live broadcasts, and I'll put it out there. Speaking from your heart shouldn't require a script. Correct. I would say that this is a live show. And, I really want to make sure that I get it completely right. And I want to make sure all my thoughts get out there. because a lot of times with these shows, I kind of get on one, and then I'm sitting back saying, "Damn, I wish I would have said that. Fuck, I missed that." Or dang, I wish. So I need some bullet points and notes to make sure that I don't miss something completely important that I had thought about while sitting on the couch, kind of coming up with what I was going to say. But it's very important for me just so I hit all the points that I want and I don't forget anything. I don't leave something out. So I haven't done that in the past, but I definitely need to do it a lot more just to make sure that my thoughts are as complete as possible.
But also, just one more thing, real quick, in relation to the comment from before, like there was a scene in Pose where
this one.
No, the one before that with the fear.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
John.
basically, there was a scene in the TV show Pose where, this one where it was during the one where they were doing the Dorian Corey story where Elektra ended up putting that guy in that trunk.
Yep.
Well, she was basically detailing a story where she was, with a John, and he got abusive with her, and when she flagged down a cop, the cop ended up locking her up and letting the John go that was about to kill her. And you got to understand, that was in the 80s, and that was real life for a lot of trans women. Like, they would be considered the suspect before the person that was abusing them. And even till this day, a lot of times, if they're in a situation where they're being abused or assaulted, the cop will often not take their side. So this is a fear that they walk out there with, thinking, okay, automatically, I'm a suspect before I'm a victim.
Absolutely. I mean, the system is, again, yes, speaking to that fear, like the system is dead set against these girls, and they deal with a lot of shit. They have a lot of worries. Like, as a Black man, I have worries about police. But it's even worse for women in community. It's even worse. The legal system is just not here to help them in any way, shape, or form. And it's yes. What Hope is saying, till this day, yes, it is current. Like, that shit is the shit is fucked up. And look, they just need more help, fellas. We got to do a little bit more to step up and help. And I think we have it in us. Even with the few small group of us that there is, I think we can really put a focus on trying to hold people accountable and try to even just hold our friends accountable in community who are navigating these waters, kind of fucking up this whole transamorous name thing, which whatever. But what's done is done. We're all grouped together, and I just think we need to do a better job at holding each other accountable and kind of not allowing our friends to do some fuck shit, playing around, being a player, all that other shit. Like, really have to be honorable. You have to be honorable. You have to have integrity. You have to be honest and completely upfront with what you're doing. Because,
I rock the transamorous badge with pride. So
there you go. And it's, I just think we got to do a better job at being allies. So, yeah. That's really. Oh, I'm sorry. We wanted to do that. Yeah, we got to do that. Sorry. Before we go, we have to address this super straight thing. Has anybody heard about?
That was going to be a question, but elaborate.
Okay, so I'm gonna show this tweet here.
Got to handle the children.
Yeah. So, super straight, allegedly a thing. I kind of thought it was like some fake, like, I thought this shit was a joke. Like, I didn't even know this shit was real. Sorry, let me make the screen bigger so people can see it. So, super straight is like this fucking, I don't know, it's just like new philosophy, bullshit internet thing where they're saying, I'll just read the description from the Twitter account. So it says, what is super straight? This is a new sexuality that means you are only attracted to cisgender women or men. This was made due to an influx of people saying that you aren't straight if you're attracted to trans women / men. We are part of the LGBTQ community now. Hashtag super straight. Yeah, the super straight thing is stupid as fuck.
It It sounds like an Urban Dictionary definition that probably should have got like 50 thumbs down and like 6 thumbs up. But you know,
Yeah, it's a hashtag. It's going around. People are like, what's your commentary on this? Like, what are your thoughts on this? It's dumb. It's dumb. I think it's, it's a group of people that I feel like this is, some more conservative bullshit. I know we can't ascribe liberal or conservatism to this, but this is like some reverse racism shit. Like, it's not real. Mm-hmm. That shit don't exist. This super straight shit don't exist. It's a whole fucking, it's stupid as fuck. I hate it. I hate that I have to give time to it, but it's something that people are talking about. It's what's trending right now and it's going around. And I hope that it just goes away very soon and that it just dies a slow death, not a slow death, a very quick death on the internet. Because super straight, whatever else, is stupid. It's like everybody wants to be a victim. You live a privileged life, you have all this privilege, and you feel like you're not getting attention. So, cis person, oh, well, I need to be a part of something, so I need to be a victim too. Like, don't I have this going on? It's like, the fuck? No, you don't, motherfucker. I'm sorry, I look at this like reverse racism. It's some trumped up bullshit from people that, are upset that people who have largely been silenced is finally getting space and they're being allowed to talk. So, I mean, that's my real commentary on this shit. I don't know what do y'all.
I mean, you can't really say it's not, a conservative, thing. And I mean, conservative doesn't even have to have a racial tone to it. It's just basically people who, are ascribed to the thought that, there was a time when you said you were attracted to a woman and you knew that a woman had a vagina and you knew that a man had a penis. And now we're in the new era. There's people that are so confused with the fact that, when they say that they're straight, they have to like a asterisk there or something. Like, basically, I don't even know where that statement came from, that you aren't straight if you don't like trans women. I've heard something to the effect opposite, but yeah, I agree with what you said. It's stupid. I really don't think it makes sense. But like you say, reverse racism, somebody who already doesn't have any kind of, basically a lot of people that feel like they believe in a traditional man, woman equals penis and vagina, basically there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The people who believe that, they feel like they have to take a hard stand where they are now. That's what I feel, because they feel like they're losing their place in society as super straight people, because like, I like the opposite sex they're like, I like the opposite sex with the correct genitalia or whatever, but all this other stuff, I feel like they get intimidated basically by all the pronouns and stuff like that. Some people get really triggered by just saying the correct pronouns. It's little trivial shit like that. But I'll pass it along. I think I said everything.
Yeah, I only got a couple things to say about it. One being, these little fucknuts are definitely not part of the LGBTQ plus community. Like, straight up and down, they are not part of it. Like it's idiotic for them to even say it, and I know why they're saying it, because they are transphobic and homophobic as fuck. But then two, there is a popular YouTuber named Samantha Lux. She's a trans woman. She is beautiful, but she is also very fucking smart. And if you go to her channel, one of her latest videos is about super straight, the topic, and she actually showcases like some of the videos. And you can tell from the videos that these are young, suburban dumbasses that just have a fear of trans people. And they're out there just trying to like brag about being super straight while holding up, well, not holding up, but basically in the background, you'll see like the super straight flag, so to speak, that they made because of the fact that the LGBTQ community has flags. They try to create their own, and it's the colors of Pornhub. So it's really just some young motherfuckers that watch porn all day, probably smoke a bowl or two, thinking that they're cool while listening to, like Eminem and stuff like that, which I like Eminem, but, I'm just saying, his old stuff was very homophobic and transphobic. So, I mean, that's all they really do. They're young, stupid, and when it comes to the topic, they are uneducated as fuck.
Well, I hope they all drink a bottle of bleach and save us all from their stupidity.
They would probably do it if it was a new challenge, kind of like
there we go. Yeah, it's dumb as fuck, and yeah, and especially that it's young people. They're going to regret this shit. They will. Some of them will grow to regret it.
It's about culture wars.
It really is, but again, everybody wants to be a victim. Like, do you think people in this community really want to be victimized in the way that they have been? Like, nobody asks to be oppressed by society and be brutalized by society in these ways. Nobody's asking for this shit. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants to be treated this way. They're acting like we're reveling in how people in this community are treated, and they want to be that. Like, no, we don't want this. We want to be treated like everybody else. Everybody in this community wants to be treated with the same human decency as that's afforded to everyone in the white, cis, alleged straight, dominant society. We want all the rights and privileges and protections of society that everybody else gets. All these laws and all this other shit shouldn't even exist. Shouldn't even exist. Like, it just proves that, I don't know what, I'm sorry, I'm just really fired up on this shit because I fucking hate when these like suburban, just these people that just are fucking dumbasses come in and they're just trying to like, yeah, well, I'm a victim too, because like, why do you want to be a victim? Why?
I feel like
Chris,
wants it. Well, you got to look at, and I guess because I'm the political guy, you got to look at it. These people start these culture wars, and the next thing you know, they the next congressperson like Marjorie Taylor Greene, because they took a hard stand on a cultural issue that they felt strongly about. And if they have a constituency or a community that they can reach out to and say, hey, maybe I can use this movement to gain power. It's all about using that particular stigma, using that community. It's about clout chasing, really. It's like basically like, hey, I'm a super straight person and I want all the super straight people to join me so we can fight up against all these people oppressing us. Like you said, it's a victim thing. It's like they feel angry, they feel frustrated, flustered that they're losing their place. That's something I notice in this country. It's like it's an everlasting culture war. There's always a culture trying to come in and say, hey, we are part of this community, we are part of this society, we need space too. And then there's another part saying, well, no, you're not. There's never been a place for you in this society, and there never will be. And if you try to change that, we're going to make it very hard and very violent for you. And it's just like, where do we find the middle ground in that?
There is no middle ground. Fuck them.
Exactly. But just to let you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, supposedly she ran unopposed and still only got 74% of the vote. So she didn't even get 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these kids, I mean, well, some of them aren't kids, some of them are adults, but they act like kids. And apparently when you look at them, you can tell like, okay, you live at home with your parents, most likely in a $500,000 home. And the biggest worry you really got is which park are you guys going to go play basketball at? So it's like, these people really shouldn't even be given the time of day as far as being taken serious. They should be more of a joke.
Absolutely. And nobody really gives a fuck about Tyra's on point with this one, they're not content with their sexuality. I find that most of them really want to experience trans women, but are afraid of people judging them. So that's their way of trying to fight of how they feel inside. I've met a few. There is something to a lot of these folks going to extremes to cover up how they really feel and cover up like, well, I'm not like that. And I don't know, this whole thing is just dumb as fuck. It's giving me an ulcer. It is the fucking worst. And this shit. Well, I don't want to go down that road. Fuck Blair White.
Oh shit.
Blair White, yeah, fuck that bitch.
Oh shit.
Excuse my language, y'all. I fucking hate. No. Fuck her. So anywho, yeah, that's really all we got for today's show, y'all. Fellas, I want to go around the horn. First off, fellas, I want to thank you for your time. Everybody watching this, thank you for putting in an hour and a half to listen to us talk. And thank you to everybody in the comment section for providing commentary. Everybody's welcome to join the conversation during these streams and, provide your comments and get your ideas out there. And, we'll take some of them, put them on screen, and we'll debate them and we'll talk about them. We'll acknowledge you. So, thank you, everybody here, Lorraine, Hope, David, Michaela, Tyra, John Jukes, Ken D. Thank you to Brother Troy for joining us today. Liberty, Cookie, Judge Desiree. So I want to make sure I acknowledge everybody. But yeah, I think Claudette, Harmony, thank you everybody for chipping in and just offering commentary today. Look, the situation out here ain't perfect. Just please know that the work is being done by the men, by the few of us men that there are in these groups. It is not a massive movement. It is slow going. I'm really hoping to speed up that process soon. I really hope we can really speed this process up, and it's going to take money, funding, and all that stuff, but, we'll get there slowly but surely. And, in the meantime, please have grace with the guys. Please just know that we are out here doing this work. We are doing this, and we're trying to bring other guys into the fold and raise up a lot of the intellectual levels of a lot of the other men in these spaces so that they're better allies and, better allies and mates for a lot of the women in this community. Because frankly, ladies, I get it. Y'all deserve more. Y'all deserve better from us. And, we've been screwing the pooch and we've been trying to up things, but, ladies, I fully recognize y'all deserve better. And, I am going to continue to do my best to do my part and encourage other people to do their part to help other men become better because, y'all been dealing with the shit end of the stick for way too long. So, with all of that, I think we're just going to say, oh, wait, Mike, your podcast. Gotta pimp it out, bro. Tell everybody where they can find you.
No doubt. You can find me at Mike Brooklyn on Twitter, and my podcast is the Real Talk Podcast. I discuss various topics within 3 segments on the episode. And I have this guy over here, Big Chris, on a lot. So, we try to help each other out with both our podcasts and everything. But yeah, check it out. I try to do 1 to 2 episodes a week. And sometimes we do discuss trans-related issues on the podcast as well.
For sure. And everybody listening to this, please follow on Facebook, like the page on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Please go to the podcasting platforms and give me a 5-star rating. No 4 stars, please. Only 5. Be a 5-star person. Those are the best people. Exactly. Do not be a 4-star person because I don't need you to come back. Throw a good review out there, whatever else. Ladies, share this podcast, share these streams, these podcasts with the men in your lives, the men that that are in this space. We need your help spreading this out and getting the word out to a lot of men that really need to be educated. So, and any men watching this right now, we have a Facebook group that's men's only. It's called the Men Like Us Tribe. Find it on Facebook. It is a great group. It's a very good spirit in there right now. It's a spirit of support and friendship. And, we are patient with each other and we're taking the time to teach and educate other men who are just, stepping into this space and they're starting at square one. So, again, ladies, if y'all know anybody else, any other men who could use community, who could use a little bit more education, maybe a point in the right direction. There are lots of guys in this group who are married, from the guys like me that are single to the guys that are married to guys that are in a relationship. There's all kinds of guys in this group. And, it's a really, really dope space for men right now. So please do your best to share it out and let other men know about all this stuff, help us grow because we need it. And with that, we will see y'all next week. Thank you for joining us tonight.